All righty. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Robert Theobald, Small Business Ombudsman and Vice President of Small Business Services here at the Arizona Commerce Authority, and your host for today's session. As we like to do when we start out on all of our boot camps, we like everybody to post in the chat where you are tuning in from. We like to see where throughout the state all of our participants are from. It always makes for fun. Sometimes we have people out of state and out of country. So again, post up in the chat where you're tuning in from so we can see that. We got Scottsdale, Peoria, Tempe, Gilbert, Sedona, Green Valley, Gilbert, downtown Phoenix, Phoenix Arcadia, Tucson, Avondale, Marana, Vale. All right. We got Marana, Avondale, Chandler. All right, again, if you just joined, post up in the chat where you're tuning in from. We like to see where we have everybody participating from throughout the state. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and jump right in. So if you're new to the boot camp, we cannot do these boot camp sessions without our community partners. Our community partners provide their time, their ton of effort, and their expertise to give back to small businesses to help small businesses be more successful. Again, our community partners, the ones we have today, I'll talk about them a little bit more here in a bit, but they've been with us many times and help in a number of different ways supporting the small business community. Also, for those that are new to the boot camp, the Small Business Boot Camp is designed to help small businesses prepare, plan, and grow. And we do that through our Tuesday morning boot camp. So these webinars every Tuesday morning, but we also do some hands-on workshops, some lunch and learn webinars, and special sessions. And all of our webinars, lunch and learn webinars, special sessions, we do those virtually so we can reach all corners of the state, but also so we can record them and post them in our content library. Our small business content library contains all the recordings of these webinars, the Tuesday webinars, plus those other sessions. And we have well over 300, we're up to about 360 recorded webinars and workshops in the content library that you can access at any time. We also like to include the slide decks from our presenters, so you can have not only the recording, but the slide deck material to help support your business. And we will post the links for this stuff in the chat as well. And so real quick, just some of the other programs that the Arizona Commerce Authority provides to help support small business. These 6 are just part of them. You can find all of them at the Commerce website, azcommerce.com/programs. We have these plus many more. One of those programs is the Small Business Checklist. This is a great tool to help small businesses that are looking to start, or those entrepreneurs that are looking to expand your business, to identify the commonly requested licensing, registration, and compliance requirements at the local, state, and federal levels. Some quick updates as well we like to share. I'm kind of going through these a little fast because we got great presenters and I want to give them plenty of time for their presentation today. But we're going to post a link for the Federal Reserve Small Business Credit Survey in the chat. We've worked with the Federal Reserve over the last number of years, sharing this link for small businesses to do this survey. All of you that are small business out there, please feel free to check it out. It's a great resource. It provides a lot of great information to help support small businesses and to see what small businesses throughout the country are facing. And then also throughout the state, using this link, it can help kind of regionalize some of the results as well, so we can see what Arizona and different parts of Arizona are facing. And then also we have our Small Business Digital Academy. The applications for that program are still open. It is a 3-week entry-level cohort class for helping understand the digital world you need to live in now as a small business. And our presenters today, Kim and Isaac, they're also support the Small Business Digital Academy. They've been with it since the beginning of it and are a great resource as part of it. So real quick, just to look at our upcoming sessions over the following 3 weeks. We've got a number of great sessions coming up. So we hope you can join us for those. And with that, this is a reminder, with some of the lunch and learns we do. We have an upcoming lunch and learn on Thursday, October 7th. This is with the SBA, the Small Business Administration, from their Phoenix office. We are going to talk about the new credit line product that the SBA has introduced that helps small businesses have a little more access to credit. Again, this is talking about a new SBA product, so we hope you can join us for that. And with that, we're going to jump into today's session. So today we have Isaac and Kim from LocalFi. They are SEO and local SEO experts as well. They do a phenomenal job helping small businesses understand the localness of their business and how to maximize their local traffic. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to turn it over to Kim and Isaac. And what we like to do in these presentations is ask your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And then we can leverage the chat for some interactions, because I know Kim and Isaac are going to ask questions and want your interaction through the chat. So in order to not lose those great questions we anticipate you having, please again throw those in the Q&A that's at the bottom of your screen. So Kim and Isaac, it is all yours.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Yeah, and we're excited to be back again. We keep being brought back, so I guess we're doing something right, you know?
But we just want to thank everyone too. Like Robert said, we like to keep this interactive. We like to actually teach you things you can use today, tomorrow, for your business that are actually going to make a difference. So like Robert said, if you have questions, don't hold back, put it in the chat, put it in the Q&A. Some of those we will answer live in the moment. Some of them we may wait until the end of today's session, and then we'll answer as many as we possibly can. Because we're all about providing value. We want to be able to give you all the juicy, good golden nuggets, as much as possible today. And today's session is appropriately named, You Googled What? The surprising power of your online reputation. And that's really what today's focus is going to be about, because word of mouth can only get you so far, but what happens with word of mouth if I tell Isaac to check out a certain restaurant? He's likely going to Google it and then see that they only have a 1.2 rating and then start questioning my decision-making skills. So Google and the power of online search and your online reputation really has a tremendous impact on your business. So we're going to talk today about what can you do to really make sure you're taking full advantage of what is possible and capable online and on Google especially.
Awesome. Yes. Thanks, Kim. And yeah, so we're gonna jump right in, give you guys some great actual action steps that you can take, and really talk about, how are people actually seeing you online? And so an example of this is, when somebody Googles your business, a lot of people don't realize the first thing somebody sees is actually your Google business card, which is right here. So very rarely nowadays do people type in a URL. They're going to Google the name of the company. And what happens is the first thing they see is this. The second thing they're going to see is obviously the website. But most people are going to look at this first. And how are you showing up? So I want everyone right now to take a second and just Google the name of their company. Make sure you don't put in your URL, just the name, and see, one, do you have a business card that shows up? The thing is, even if you didn't create one, if you've been in business for long enough, Google will populate one for you. And oftentimes it doesn't use the best photos if it does that. So take a look here and see, this cover photo is literally your most viewed image online. And so a lot of people just don't, realize it or take the time to put a great cover image in. And Kim's going to be covering how to make sure you have a good cover image. And you can see, again, it captures your reviews. This is the first, interaction. Your online word of mouth advertising is right here with your reviews. But you can add a bunch of stuff now. You can add a bunch of products into your Google My Business. You can have question and answers. You can see they highlight what different people talk about. You have your description, and then you have all of these posts that you can do as well. So for instance, Kim and I actually just won an award from my university, which was really awesome. And so we got to go and do that. But this is a credibility that we get to share directly with people. When they look up our company, they're going to see that we just won an award from our university. So a lot of people just aren't utilizing these Google posts to the full ability of both how to utilize it for SEO to help you show up higher in rankings, as well as how to use it for credibility to cause people to want to move forward with you. So that's how you show up online, and hopefully everyone's kind of Googled that. But with that Google business card, it actually shows up with keywords. So if you see, for instance, if we type in digital marketing company Scottsdale, here we are, #1. And then that will lead, if you click on that, to your Google business card. So it shows up in a variety of ways when you're able to make a great Google business card, optimize it, and get it out there. And it literally is the #1 way that somebody is actually finding you online. And as you can see from this, it takes up a huge portion of the first page of Google. I mean, we're talking about 40% of the total space of Google being taken up just by this Google business card if it's well optimized. If it's not and you're looking at it, it probably takes up 10%, because it just doesn't show everything that you're able to put in there. So Kim's going to be sharing a lot about how to optimize it a little bit later. What I want to talk about first, though, is your website. So especially when you're first starting out, everyone's really worried about, your website and how does my website work? And, they think they have to build out this big website. And I want to share with you right now what we're seeing in the marketplace is that simple one-pager websites, especially for businesses that are just starting out, are actually really ideal. And we've started offering these to our customers now because we've found that there's such a need for just a website that helps you convert visitors into actual customers. Because right now, what's happening again is most of your leads are going to be driven either by word of mouth or they're going to be driven by your Google business profile or your Yelp profile. It's not going to actually be driven by somebody finding your URL, your website online. And so your website doesn't, trying to put money into your website SEO when you're just getting started usually is not the best place to spend money, actually. The best place is on local SEO and then putting a website together that will help that traffic convert into real customers. So this client, for instance, he has a good online presence, but had no website. And he was being told, people were calling him and saying, like, hey, I decided not to move forward with you just because I wasn't sure if you were a real company or not. And so once we've built this website for him, he hasn't had that issue. And so just a couple elements here, you see the service bar, but you actually can click on it and it just scrolls. One of the big things you need to talk about on your website is what your service offerings are. You'd be surprised how many people miss this. And it's really important that there's actually text. So you can see we have a little bit of text that actually shows up when you highlight over this. And because you can see I can highlight it, it's not actually printed onto the image. That means that Google can crawl this text, and that's important for SEO purposes. So your text can't just be an image. If it's on an image, Google can't read that, but this is actually overlaid on top of an image, and so Google can read this, and then that means it can actually rank you for the keywords that you're putting in there. So that's really, really key. Another key thing to utilize is your reputation online. Again, Google is one of the best places, like your Google business card is one of the best places to actually capture your online word of mouth advertising. And word of mouth advertising, again, for any business that's just starting up is super key. But the thing is, if somebody really likes your service, they're only going to tell about 3 people about it. But if they go online and write a review on it, that means they could be telling hundreds of thousands of people about it every single day. And so capturing that and putting it onto your website, and you can see, we show that this is directly from Google. It's not just written testimonials. Anyone could take a stock image and write a quote unquote testimonial. And at this point, people don't really believe those as much. You can see these are coming directly from Google, and you can, tell that. And that really adds that credibility element to it. And so, yeah, definitely start capturing reviews because that is a conversion factor. And then we like to talk a bit about us. So the about us is another big reason why people move forward. They want to know about your company and like, why are you doing this? And so, we really talk about, for any of our, businesses, why are we doing this? And a little bit about the owner and their mission, because it really does help with the conversion factor, people again wanting to move forward with you. And then we do have a way to contact. Now, some businesses don't want to use forms, and then, just have like a contact number. And then some businesses, especially we find with the service providers, the home service providers, forms are still very prevalent. So you don't always have to use a form, honestly, nowadays. A lot of forms, unfortunately, are just being filled with spam. And so it really depends on the industry. And then at the bottom here, it's just the footer. So it's simple, but it's professional. I'm just going to show you another, example of a one-page website that we created for a client. We like to make it a little bit, interactive, dynamic, and so it changes a little bit. And just kind of pulls people's eyes to it. Putting a video can be really a great way to do that. And we utilize videos on our website as well. And then, highlighting the services that they're offering. And then, for them, they wanted to have a portfolio. Important, they're putting out signs. And so we built out a whole portfolio, so you can see the examples and again, the form and how to contact us down here. So again, simple, but it really will actually convert customers, visitors into paying customers, which is always the key. So just wanted to talk about the fact that, that this is definitely a real option now. And the beautiful thing about how at least we build our one pagers is that in the future, as the companies grow, we can expand them, right? So as you go to the next level, what you were going to want to do is actually have a page for every single service offering that you're offering, as you can see here, and then that way you can actually write all about that, do a lot of the SEO work that you need to on it. And so our one-page websites are built as a homepage so that if we ever want to build them out further in the future, we have that ability to very easily. And so that really helps. In terms of, talking about videos, I love the header video style now. You'll see that with a lot of restaurants will have this kind of style and everything. So I think it's a really fun, engaging way to build that out. And it's becoming easier and easier to find people who can, build out these, header videos is what they're called instead of a header image. And so, we utilize them on a lot of our websites now. And again, it just adds that engagement with the customer who's on the page and kind of wanting to learn more about you. So that's what I just wanted to share about, websites and, essentially, looking at when you're first getting started, don't worry about building out this big, long, huge website, really focus more on the local side of things, which Kim is going to talk to you about, because that's what's actually driving customers, and make sure you have a website that really is there to add that credibility, talk about your service offerings, have a way for somebody to contact you, and your website is really operating more as a conversion tool than a lead generating tool, because you're going to be getting your leads through word of mouth advertising and online word of mouth advertising, aka Google Maps, Yelp, TripAdvisor, and those platforms. So now I'm going to hand it over to Kim, to talk a bit more about, Google My Business and, how to utilize this very powerful platform.
Thanks, Isaac. And before we get started, I would love everybody to do us a favor and in the chat, tell us either the name of your business or what industry are you in. As we teach how to optimize your online presence and how to really have a great online reputation to be able to provide the most value, I think it would be helpful if we understand who you guys are. Who are we speaking to? So again, in the chat, go ahead and put what your industry is or what your business name is, just so we have a little bit of context too. Awesome. We got some real estate, MB admin, accounting, computers, digital marketing. Hey, Giselle. Travel agency. Cool. Flooring installation. Awesome. Okay. Keep putting those in the chat and thanks for sharing. So before we get started, Isaac is gonna do his best to answer the Q&A as well while I'm talking, but I do want to start from square one. A few of you have noted that maybe when you did the Google search, like Isaac said, you don't find yourself on Google, or you do find yourself, but you don't have that Google business card. So if you are starting from square one, which is completely fine, it may have gone one of two ways. One, you created a Google business card, or two, Google may have created a Google business card for you. If you don't see one at all, you do need to take the first step in creating your online Google business card. And all you have to do, I just put it in the chat, is go to google.com/business. Now, I'm not going to go through all the details today of how to necessarily set that up, but I will say the more information you have ready before you start that, the better. When you sign up for that, make sure it's an email you commonly use that you're signing up for, but it's going to walk you through it and say, like, what's the name of your business? What are the different areas you service, or what's your address? You know, fill out as much information as you can right then and there. It's going to ask for photos as well. So definitely make sure two things. One, if you are listing an address on Google, you do have to follow Google's rules, which means if you list an address, they want to see that you have permanent signage at that physical location. That means you can't pick up the sign and move it. It needs to be like on a directory or on your front door, something like that. They also want to see that it really is a physical location that customers can visit, even if you don't want them to visit. They just want to see, do you have an office with a couple of chairs, something like that. Those are really the two main things. The third thing, of course, is can you receive mail there? Occasionally, less often than ever before. They do like to send a postcard to your physical location. But those are the three criteria if you're going to list an address. But what if you work from home, or you have a PO box or something like that? Then you cannot show your address. So no residential, no PO box. Then just simply say hide my address. When you do that, it's still good to, you know, have certain photos and things, but you're not going to show a photo of your house and things like that. So don't worry about those kinds of things, but you can either show an address or don't show an address. Okay. Now, the other thing I do want to share with everyone too is, what if you have a Google business profile, but you don't remember the email you used to create that how many years ago? That happens sometimes too. So if you're not sure, you can actually click on the link I just included in here, type in your business name, and then it should say, if it's managed by anyone, it'll say currently being managed by, and then it will give you the first few letters of the email associated with that account to kind of hopefully jumpstart your memory on, do I have access to my Google business profile? If not, you can request like ownership of that account essentially. I just wanted to provide that as a little side bonus too, because sometimes we need help with that. So let's talk about the good stuff. So I'm going to show you two examples. One of them, I'm going to share my screen, is one of our clients of the LocalFi family who does not show an address. And the other one is somebody who does show an address. So if you see my screen here, this is Big Boy Trailer Rentals. And when you are logged into the back end of your Google business profile, what you see is, here's your Google business card. Like Isaac said, you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and it takes up a very large portion of that first page of Google. That is like the most prime real estate on Google. So that's awesome to have there. We've got a great looking cover photo. We have a specified service area since we don't show an address. And then, as you can see, you know, we've worked with them for legitimately a year now. We started September of last year. So we have a good thing going on. We have products here, a question, full description, and so on. So what can we do with this profile, right? So on the back end, there's a couple different tabs. I will say that depending on your industry, you may see different buttons here. For example, if we look at Big Boy Trailer Rentals, it says vehicle listings. Well, we're not selling vehicles, so I don't need to list that. But when we look at Skunky's junk removal service, they don't have vehicles on here because that doesn't make sense for their industry. So, and then once you are a restaurant, this looks all different too. You'll see menu buttons and bookings and things like that. So let's dig into the main things that everyone has the ability to optimize. So your business name, categories. It is good, if possible, for your industry to list really no more than 5 categories on Google My Business. If you list more than 5, it's kind of confusing to Google. They're like, wait, should I rank you for this? Should I rank you better for this? You have too many options for me to choose from. The more specific you can be, the better. So it's very clear we are a trailer rental service. Nothing else really makes sense. Your description, you can write up to 750 characters. I highly recommend, if you don't know something like products or services, what the character limits are or anything, you can just Google it. What is the character limit for? I mention that because, you know, Isaac talked to you a little bit about SEO as well, but the more content you can feed Google, the more information you can feed Google, the better. So if we have 750 characters, I'm going to try my best to get that full 750 characters. And more than just writing a description, I'm going to do my best to find out what keywords should I be putting in this content. And one tool that I am going to share with you guys that we use, there's plenty of keyword research tools out there. This one, I think, is about $15. If you pay $15 one time, you get 100,000 credits. It's a lot, but it's called Keywords Everywhere. And once you install that, you know, you can just click on it. It comes as an extension. You hit the on button, you search for it, and it tells you what is the search volume for this keyword. And it shows you the competition, related keywords, everything. So the reason I mention that is because that's something that's really important to have in your description. I believe, like Isaac mentioned earlier, the more you talk about specific services that you want to show up better for in results, well, you should talk about it. Because think about it, if it's not mentioned on your website and it's not mentioned on your Google business profile or Yelp or TripAdvisor or anywhere else, why would Google want to rank you higher in search results if you don't talk about it yourself, right? So you can see trailer rental company in Phoenix. You know, we also talk about utility trailer rentals, car trailer rentals. If you search for any of these things in Phoenix, or even some of the surrounding areas at this point, you're going to see big boy trailer rentals on the top. So that's part of it, okay? And then also, you know, phone number, website, your social profiles are great to put on here because those pop up right on your Google business card as well. So really, you know, like Isaac said, people aren't typing in website links or URLs. I, as a consumer, have everything I need right here. I have reviews, I have photos, I have your services. I even have the updates on what you have to offer, your social profiles. Why would I even need to go to your website? Oh yeah, to book. That's it. That's all I have to do. So that brings me to my other thing too, we'll get to in just a moment, but service areas. So if you're not showing an address, you can list up to 20 different service areas. Now, don't go willy-nilly and say, I service the entire United States, even if you do. With Google, again, the more specific you can be, the better. So, you know, if we service Maricopa County, I'm going to say the different areas of Maricopa County that we do service. If you service just the East Valley, then list, you know, the cities, the zip codes, even neighborhoods you can write in here too. Business hours, pretty standard, things like that. Your reviews are super important. So you can click this button that says get more reviews, and they'll give you this fancy little quick link. And if you copy and paste that, it brings customers directly to the write a review box. That means it's way quicker and faster and easier versus telling them to type big boy trailer rentals into Google and scroll and click on this and then click reply, leave a review. It's just like a 6-step process. So use that link, get reviews. Google actually looks at how often a business is getting reviews and how quickly they're being responded to. So in relevance to your ranking online, that does help. And think about it from a consumer's perspective. Would you work with a trailer rental company who has a ton of reviews? This guy has 5 stars, over 300, and many of them are very recent. Or would you rather work with someone whose last review is from like 2 years ago? You know, so even if you're getting like 1 new review per month, that's plenty fine. That's what we want you to aim for. And then photos, your cover photo and your logo. Those are definitely very important. Like Isaac talked about your cover photo. This is your first impression. This is what people see when they Google you. So you want to make sure it's a great representation of who you are, what you have to offer. You see, we even put like our logo on it, so it's a little more branded. With the cover photo, I will say it's not easy to just drop your cover photo in there and then Google's like, great, thank you for giving me this photo. Google has a mind of its own, as some of you probably may have already found out. In short, if the cover photo doesn't work, delete it, put a new one in, see if that one sticks. It's a little bit of trial and error to kind of persuade Google on what they need to do, or what you need to do to help persuade them. One thing I will recommend is simply Google what size should a Google cover photo be. That will and tends to often have it stick better, because you'll see some of these cover photos are like big skinny vertical things, and you want to make sure it's the right size. It looks nice. Okay. And then performance. This is great. I won't get into it too much today, but if you're in the current month, there's always a lag. Obviously, September is not over yet, so those results we don't look at quite yet. But we can see an overview of how many customer actions were taken through Google. That means somebody clicked on the call button, they clicked on the website button. So we can see those results, and we can see how our profile has performed compared to the previous year at the same time frame, which is also really cool. Also, overview is nice because it shows you how many people viewed your profile, how many people, was it a Google search? Was it Google Maps? Was it computer, phone? And also, this is really helpful as a business owner too, to see what things are people typing into a search bar to where our business is showing up in results. So you can see the number one thing that we show up in results for is trailer rental. Trailer rental Phoenix, dump trailer, things like that. Trailer rental, I'm not surprised by also, because trailer rental is in our business name. It is honestly helpful to have keywords in your business name. If you're a massage place and you're just called, Joe's Massage, well, you're going to rank decently for massage, likely, depending on where you are. Of course, there's other factors, because you have the name massage in your business name. And then you have products here too. Products is cool because you can actually add a category saying, hey, these are all the trailers we have for rent, or these are all of our jewelry options, or these are all of our sandwiches, and then list your product name. Pricing is optional. You don't have to put that there. Do definitely put a description with any product though. Again, that's more content option, and that's your ability to be able to add keywords related to whatever that product is about too. And you can see you have 1,000 characters to work with. And you can even put a page URL. So if you have a website where people can buy directly off your website, or book or schedule, you can put that link right there so people can take action right from your product. Just like you see here, Deck Over Trailer, if we visit the site, it brings you to the page about Deck Over Trailers where somebody can book this trailer, which is awesome. Okay, and then we have services. Services are essentially your menu, as if a restaurant has a menu. Whether you're a restaurant or not, you can see this is our menu of services, all the different trailer rentals that we have available. And again, when you add a service, definitely make sure you have a description with this. And again, you can see we do our best to take full advantage of the character limit. And again, we're talking, we want to make sure to put keywords in here. And especially if you're trying to rank in a specific area and you're not listing an address, it's good to talk about, if we want to rank in Scottsdale, we're going to talk about Scottsdale more. Again, you do have the option to put a price if you want to put a price. I do recommend, if you are going to list a price, whether it's products or services or anywhere else, you should put in the description like subject to availability, because if you're not on top of this all the time, I don't want you to have angry prospects or customers saying, well, you listed it online, but like if it says subject to availability. And then bookings, not everyone will have this tab that says bookings, but if you do have it, how do people book with you? Is it a free consultation? Is it booking a trailer? Is it booking a massage, etc.? So we want people to go to the website. Whereas, for Skunky's junk removal, we link directly to his booking platform through House Call Pro, which is nice. That way, quick, easy. Q&A, if people have questions, you need to be the one responsible for answering, because with questions, any user on Google, anyone who's on Google can answer that question. And what you don't want is somebody asks a question and a bunch of users answer it, but none of them are the right answer. You know, the owner of the business has the right answer. So we want to make sure you're the one answering it. Not only that, again, it's an opportunity for more content. So, you know, we talk about trailer rentals in that response as well. Now, what if you only have, you know, 10 to 15 minutes per month to spend on your Google business profile? What should you be doing every single month to keep it in good standing and essentially keep building that trust with Google? Because again, when you can make Google happy, they want to reward you by giving you more visibility. And also you want to look good, because if your word of mouth is strong, people are going to be researching you and you want to make sure you look good online. So that is number one. I would say add, you know, 2 to 3 photos per month of your business. Adding new photos regularly shows Google that you're an active business. It also shows customers like myself, like, oh, this is something new. Let me look at this. And, you know, you have to be creative sometimes depending on your industry. Like if it's, I can't name a specific business right now, but trailer rentals, we have trailers all day long. But you also want to get like in action photos of like you executing the work. You also, you know, if you have a desk job kind of thing or you're consulting, then I want to see you smiling on the phone or working at your computer or shaking hands with a client, like that kind of stuff. Real photos. Google does not like stock photos, just to be clear, and it's not uncommon that they will reject those photos as well. So, but back to the 10 to 15 minutes per day, add 2 to 3 photos per month. Number 2, add a Google post. Like Isaac shared with you, your Google posts pop up down here in this nice little carousel format. Anytime you add a Google post, it will stay up here for 6 months and then it quote unquote disappears. It gets archived. So if you click on a Google post, it will show you years and years worth of scrolling. You know, as long as you've been in business, you can scroll through all of them. It even shows you the date here. But the big thing with Google Posts, you have a couple different options of what kind of Google post. It is called update on here. And when you're in here, update is simply like you're educating customers, who you are, what you have to offer. Maybe you're talking about your reputation, or like LocalFi, hey, we just won a prestigious award from Buffalo, New York. You'll put a photo in here. And again, make sure you're Googling what size photo should a Google post be. So that way you have the right size in here, because you don't want it to get cut off or look weird in that thumbnail down there. Okay. So then the other thing you can do is add your description. You have 1,500 characters to work with, which is a lot. So do your best to try and hit that, you know, close to 1,500 mark. Again, it's an opportunity for content. That's what a lot of businesses don't do, is write enough in here. You know, talk about what you want to rank better for, or what you want to build trust with Google, that they should have more people who are searching for, you know, massages. You pop up in results. You guys know what I'm saying. And then the next thing is put a call to action. You can choose from one of these buttons. Do you want them to book now, order online, buy, learn more, sign up? If you do click call now, it's going to automatically choose the phone number that's already associated with your Google business profile. But if you choose any of these other links, you can actually put the link in here that you want them to go to, which is really helpful. So if somebody does see a post and they're like, oh, I want to take action on that, then they can simply, you know, click the book button and book a trailer right here, which is great. So that is one example of a post. The other two options is an offer and an event. An offer is exactly what it sounds like. You know, put your photo in here. You can say we have 20% off in store or online, like it says here. What is the start date of that offer, the end date, and then add more details? Yes, please. We want to add those offer details, aka your content. So up to 1,500 characters like usual. If you have a coupon code or a link to redeem the offer, terms and conditions, again, these things are all optional. The thing we care about most is really the content, the details. Okay. And then the last one is an event post. So let's say maybe you sell at, you know, farmers markets, or maybe you're hosting a webinar with Arizona Commerce Authority, you know, then we're going to post about it and say, hey, here's the name of the event. Here's the graphic or photo, start date, You can even add a start time and end time. Event details, yes. And then add a button. You know, if somebody can sign up, or if this is something where it's like, oh, do you want us to host your webinar or something like that, you can put those details in there. Those are really two of the main things that I would recommend. Again, 10 to 15 minutes per month. I know we can all dedicate that simple amount of time, you know, to be able to make a difference and continuously putting action into your Google business profile. So Skunky's Junk Removal, they do have a physical address here, as you can see. Great cover photo that shows their branded vehicle. And really not too much different products, services, bookings. I just wanted to show that there was, you know, two differences between those ones. And those are really some of the main things that I would recommend to make a difference for anybody's profile, local business. And Isaac, do we have any questions out of here that we want to answer live?
Yeah, so you know, Denise, and I'm probably gonna not say your last name very well, but Lovorn. If you want to share your business name, we can actually look at it live, and I can take a look and just see, because she asked that she thinks she has a very good profile, but she's getting very little traffic to it or conversion on the website. Is that because you're not using the Google Posts? And so Google Posts certainly can help, but you know, it's just one thing. So
The Petite Beauty Suite. That has a nice ring to it, Denise.
so give me a second. Let me just pull it up quickly before I start sharing my screen, and we can kind of go through it and what it's looking like. So Kim, if you want to answer another question as I'm just going through, I'm just going to do a very quick audit quickly behind the scenes.
Yeah, definitely. I'll answer some of these questions. I don't know how many have been answered. I apologize. But I did see a question. There's two ways to add photos, you guys. You can add photos directly. Here, I'll show you real quick while I share my screen. You can add photos by clicking on the Photos button on the back end of Google. Or, well, let's look at that because I don't think I clicked on that tab for you. You can hit Add Photos here. Okay, that's one way. You can also click Add Photos like right through your Google Business profile right here and just add it that way too. I think that answers one of those questions. Because I know Denise also asked like adding photos in the timeline or the profile. So that's just like adding it directly to Google. So if anybody finds you on Google, and then what is the difference between posting a photo in the update section and just simply adding a photo? So Prague, with that, if you're posting just a photo, that's going to show up just in your photos section on Google. If you create a Google post, your photo is going to show up in association with that Google post. So it's not necessarily being uploaded as a photo, it's being uploaded as a Google post, which is a bit different. So it appears in a different area on Google, if that makes sense.
Okay, and I'm gonna share my screen now. You're sharing, so you gotta stop.
Oh, my bad. I forgot. Go ahead.
Okay, so we have the Petite Beauty Suite. As Kim said, cool name. We enjoy it. So here's your Google profile as it pulls up right now. You know, one of the things, obviously, we talked about your profile, that top image, that definitely could be improved. It's not a bad per se image, but if you can get branding into that image,
I
you
can
know,
also
that's
see that it's not sized correctly as well.
mhm.
So do make sure, Denise, that you're Googling what size should a Google cover photo be? Because you can see yours is like long and vertical. I will let everyone here know too. Anything on Google, I know Social Media Word is like all vertical photos, but on Google, they like horizontal images.
And so you can see this is probably not what you put into your cover profile though. When when you're uploading things, you'll go and look at it and be like, this isn't what I chose, but this is what Google's choosing. And so as Kim said, sometimes you have to delete this image and then reforce it, and you have to try that a couple times to get the right cover image in there. So that would be the first thing that you look at. You do have a couple of products here, so you could really flesh that out, obviously. Obviously you have a lot of great reviews on Vagaro, which is awesome. And then you have, 8 reviews on Google, so I would flesh that out. And then I see you have one post here. It looks like you've done a few posts, but none of them are keyword centric. And so that's what I would really look at. You don't want to overdo keywords, right? Your keyword density should be like 3 to 5%. So in a paragraph, you use it once or twice, or use a couple different keywords that are related but not the same word. You don't want to overdo it with keywords, but you definitely do need to have your keywords, in there and make sure that they're being captured within these texts. So all of those things are going to help. And then the other thing is, I did run a business scan. Anyone can go and run a business scan on our website if you go to Free Academy and Free Business Scan. And this just scans how you're showing up across the web. Now, one thing Google really wants to see is that you have consistent data across the web, and that builds trust with them, and then they will rank you higher. So as you can see right now it's reporting 86% inaccuracy. And what we're seeing on something like MapQuest is that you can see, I think it was probably a previous place that was here, that is pulling up in the same address. You can see that you're not on a lot of these other sites as well. And again, sometimes it's just pulling up, it's just finding that you're probably in a suite, so that can be, a little bit difficult as well. So yeah, so that's just, I would look at, trying to get on these other business platforms. And if you use the scan, you can go and you can actually click, and it will allow you to I think it will allow you to go maybe right to it, or at least it did.
Yeah, on the business scan, if you click the little arrow next to each platform, it'll say view this listing, and then you can go directly to it.
And then the other way is just to, partner with someone like us. We have softwares that allow us to go out and update all of these listings all at once simultaneously. I used to do this all manual myself like 10 years ago, and it's difficult to do that now. So a lot of the marketing agencies like us use a software that allows us to go and kind of link all of them all at once. So but this is definitely, challenging your listing a bit, is that there is some incorrect data out there. So you're going to want to go and try and fix that up as much as possible. And then I would just add more images. You have some good images in there, but, one of the things that we do is we run a picture campaign. So we'll be adding like new images every couple days. And then you always want to title your image. So, instead of just uploading an image that's like JPEG 2278, actually title the image of what that service is of that image. And then that actually helps Google read that, associate that image with that title. And then again, that helps you with your SEO rankings. So those are the key things that I would recommend, just to like give yourself a little bit of a boost with your local listing.
Awesome. And one thing that I do want to make clear to everyone too, because I believe Denise talked about, like, it's similar to a social media timeline almost, like with how active Google likes you to be. In your Google posts, simply do make sure to follow Google's rules. Don't put, name, address, phone number, website link in your Google posts. They can either reject your posts, and often do if you have a link in there, or they might just penalize you, is what typically tends to happen too, like where they may reduce your visibility without telling you because you're putting links in your Google post. So the problem people make sometimes is they find these awesome tools that post to all their social media and their Google, but now your Google's in trouble. I don't want that to happen to you. So I'm sure hashtags are fine, to be honest. We haven't found any issues with that, but Google's not giving you any benefit from putting a hashtag in a Google post. Just make sure you're not putting links in there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One of the keys now is that Google has really cracked down on Google business profiles, and like you making sure
Mhm.
that you're in Google's guidelines, and they're now making you do these videos to verify yourself. And we're seeing listings that were verified just getting unverified for really no reason, and Google making people going through these video verifications, as well as if you touch a trigger event, and that's going to be your address, your phone number, your name, your service areas. Google may require you to re-verify. So before touching any of those items, I would definitely make sure you're within Google's guidelines before you touch any of those items, because a lot of people are kind of grandfathered in as long as they don't change too much on their Google. But as soon as they start changing stuff, Google wants you to re-verify, and you do have to go through now a video verification uh, system utilizing their AIs, and it's tough.
It's a little messy, to be
Yeah, it's
honest.
not
And right now, while
good.
Google is still trying to figure things out, back in the day, they used to just send a postcard to your location, whether you're showing an address or not. You'd type in the code and boom, you're verified. Nowadays, like Isaac said, with the video verification, I'll grab the link for you guys because I know somebody did mention, yeah, you just said that, Mr. Anonymous Attendee. But he or she said, I'm not verified and need to shoot a video to get verified. So I'll send you the link on how to pass that, or do your best to pass it. When you do pass video verification, they look for specific things. When you do pass it, it says, hey, you're verified. But it also says on your Google business profile, pending edits. We are reviewing your profile, meaning any data that you put in there, they're not going to show the updated information until the review has gone through. Like Isaac said, they laid off a lot of people in Google. There's a lot of AI, a lot of technology running the systems now. So they're still figuring out their own glitches. The video verification is new. The reason I tell you this is because video verification, although you get verified right away, the pending edit says it can take up to 30 days to review you and for your profile to be live. But what I've actually seen is it's not just 30 days. Some people are sitting in limbo for like 3 months. Not saying this is going to happen to you. I just want to help set expectations. It's a challenge. How do you know if you lost your verification after being verified? That's the sucky part. They don't tell you. I mean, you'll know because you won't see anything that says, hey, you're verified. Because if you know you passed verification, one, you'll get an email from Google. Two, your Google business profile, when you look at the back end, it won't say get verified anymore. It'll say pending edits. So that's the way you know you passed. If you didn't pass, they won't tell you why you didn't pass. You just have to redo it again. So hopefully their system gets better.
It has to, because they're dealing with a lot of unhappy people right now. I mean, we're dealing with multiple clients right now where they, just didn't verify them for whatever reason. Doesn't make any sense, and we're having to resubmit it and going through this whole process and being a squeaky wheel to Google. And they're going to realize it's more work than that. So I know Google always improves. They're improve their products, but it is right now challenging if it doesn't go well the first time. But if you just keep again being that squeaky wheel, Google will eventually, as long again you have to make sure you're following their guidelines. So yeah.
Yeah, and I did just put the link in there, like the guidelines to the Google support forum saying like, here's the criteria you need to follow to pass your verification. When you do need to get verified and you click that button that says like get verified and you click the video verification, they'll walk you through the steps on what you need to do.
Yep.
Awesome.
But we typically, I mean, we never see posting causing needing to be verified or anything like that. So posting is something that we can do even if we don't want to touch one of those trigger events. Adding photos, really never causes re-verification. So there are definitely things that you can do on your profile that, won't cause that, that to potentially happen.
Yeah, and I'd love to answer Greg's question live too, because it may apply to a couple of people. But Greg said, the presenting is great for a local commercial business, but my company does international computer/physics work. Most apply, but how do I fine tune this so that it's beneficial for somebody who offers international work? Isaac, hit it.
So yeah, if you're offering, international work, it's, that your website is going to be more where you're driving, your clientele base. The local SEO is really, for that Google business card. Because here's the thing, if somebody types in your business name, no matter where they are in the world, they're still going to see that Google Business Card. So what we use it now for is more the credibility aspect of it. And so for when we're working with companies that, you know, are more international, we have a credibility card package it's not really designed to drive local traffic. It's designed to capture that credibility of your company and use that as a conversion tool. So that's really how I would look at Google My Business if with this type of company. It's not really in terms of driving traffic. It's really about capturing your reviews there, capturing your images there, and making it so when somebody Googles your company, no matter where they were in the world, that Google Business Card looks great, and then they want to move forward with it. And then if you want to drive traffic, that's going to be more through paid ads, targeting the specific places you want to target, as well as website SEO and ranking nationally or internationally for search terms.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah.
I figured it'd be good for you to answer while I'm like answering everybody else's questions in here too. Thank you guys for asking so many great questions too. Let's see, any other questions that we have in here that we can answer live right now? I think any final questions? We're all good.
There was one I saw early on that might be able to address that on the Google, their address in their Google profile is correct, but on Maps, it takes them to the wrong end of the mall area they're in. So is there a way to fix that, or is that just a Google Maps thing?
So there is a way to fix it.
It's not capturing the suite they're in.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
So we can fix that utilizing our software. So again, we have pretty high-end software that allows us to actually change the pins on Google of exactly where you're located. We can even designate like where we want Uber to drop you off for that business and that kind of stuff. Without the software, it becomes a bit more challenging. Google does allow you to, you know, if it's reading like, you know, this location may not be correct, it does allow you to go and like move the pin on the map. So that is a possibility, but it's not always an option for an end user. And unfortunately, what Google has done is removed a lot of the capabilities that small business owners have to like really fully manage the Google profiles. You have to have these softwares that integrate with Google now in order to do, you know, in order to do a lot of these things, which we don't like that Google has done this, but I think it makes it easier for them to run the platform. So there's certainly ways to update it. You may have to either invest in a software, or you may have to hire a marketing company to update it. But I would just YouTube it honestly, and then, you know, put into the search function like in the last like 3 months if anyone's made a video on it, because Google has changed a lot. And so, yeah, that's where, you know, that's how I would research to see if you can do it without a software at this point. It's certainly doable, but you may need to, you know, buy one of the softwares that actually integrates with Google and allows you to have more features on managing your Google My Business account.
Thanks, Isaac. And
Excellent.
someone
Perfect.
else. Sorry, the last thing I
we're-
was just going to mention
yeah.
was a nonprofit organization had asked, should we have a profile? And the answer is absolutely. I put and shared the story in there of the success we've had in helping nonprofit organizations. But in a nutshell, you are a business. You need to have a reputation too. And the struggle with nonprofits a lot of the time, you guys, is the number one search is this nonprofit legit? You know, we want to help nonprofits, we want to support them, but the struggle is, how do we know that they're legit or not? Because, you know, a lot of the time it's volunteer based and they're not focusing on their online presence. So a great example of this is we helped a nonprofit called One Tree Planted. And Isaac, I did just Google this and made sure that number is accurate. But when we first started working with them, they were like, we're going to plant 10 million trees. And the cool thing about them, $1 equals one tree. They plant them all over the world where it's needed the most. They're doing great work, but their number one search is One Tree Planted legit? People didn't trust them online. They didn't have a great online presence. And after we helped them, they were able to secure a big fat grant and work with an Earth Fund And not only that, but I just checked and double verified this. But now, since we've been able to help optimize them, I think it's been a year or two, right, Isaac, since we've worked with them.
It's
But they
actually
just,
been like 3 years now. Yeah.
wow, they just planted 52 million trees last year, which is incredible. That's a huge, huge upgrade. So the simple answer is yes, absolutely. You're a nonprofit. You need to have an online reputation. People are doing their research to make sure, should I work with them or not? And I know I've had this question a couple of times. One person did ask, can we list all the resources that we've talked about and shared in the chat? Robert, I don't know the answer to that. Do you grab things from the chat to give to everyone, or?
I do not. So yeah, we can add them to the slide deck or even a separate document with the recording. We can definitely do that.
Okay, yeah, maybe I can
Yeah.
just email you some of those resources so that way you can just mass send it out to everyone.
And we have a ton of
Otherwise, I hear
resources.
you. We're going to scroll a lot trying to find some of those things. But the one thing I do want to share with everyone right now before we wrap up is a couple of people have said, like, how do I get a hold of you? How do I reach you? I want to potentially work with you. Thank you for reaching out. The best thing you guys can do is either email me directly at kim@localfi.us, or alternatively, this is going to put you in my calendar much faster, is to book an appointment through our calendar. And I just put that link in the chat. That's scheduling a discovery call, and essentially it'll ask for some info about your business. We're very honest, we're very open. If we don't think we're a good fit to be able to help you, we won't waste your time. We'll just tell you that. So we're going to be upfront and honest about it. But you giving us that info from that calendar, we'll be able to share that with you. Awesome. Thank you, Robert.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad you put that contact information because I didn't see that in the chat, people asking. So again, want to thank Isaac and Kim from LocalFi. They're a great partner of ours and we appreciate their time this morning. I hope that everybody benefited from this session. I thought it was a great session. So again, thank you. Thank you all for participating with us. We hope to see you on the next one next week. Until then, everybody have a great rest of your week and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.